Hey everyone, thank you so much for your interest in the Izzy lift system. And if you're one of the individuals who purchased it during the pre-sale, thank you so much. As a small business, Maggie and I very much appreciate your support. So this video, we're going to show you all the parts that come with it and then how to put them all together and make them work. The bigger parts that come with it are going to be the handle, the bar itself, and the two grabbo holders. Now, if you purchase the remote kit or the actuator kit that turns the grabbos on and off from the handle, you'll have two of these, and you'll have the cable remote and a couple extra pieces in your hardware. Let me show you what's supposed to be in the hardware package. For the standard kit, you're going to have an eye bolt, two spring plungers. These go on the top of the grabbo, and for each grabbo there should be 4 3/8 by 1.5 inch bolts. So you should have 8 altogether. If you bought the complete kit that has the actuators and this assembly for turning the grabbos on and off from the handle, you'll also have 4 1/4 socket head bolts and 4 black 1 1/4 inch screws. The first thing you want to do is slide the handle on to your aluminum bar. Now there's one hole in the center that's offset from all the others, so the hole is further towards the front. You want to make sure when you slide your handle on that those holes line up. Now some of your handles are going to be really tight to get on, and you may need to loosen some of the screws to slide it on and then tighten it back down. Now once you do that, you're going to take your eye bolt, run it all the way through, then add your washer, and then your nylock nut, and tighten those down. Just a quick tip on tightening that nylock nut down. Holding this by hand while you do that will be difficult. So you can take just a screwdriver or a long bar, put it through there while you're holding it, and then tighten the nut down. So it should look something like that. Now once that's done, set it out of the way and we'll work on the grabbo holders. Before we install our grabbo on the grabbo holder, we're going to want to add the threaded spring pin. Now that's going to go right here in the top. Now that's a little bit of a loose fit, so you may want to add a little bit of Teflon tape like this around it before you install it. This takes a 14mm wrench or just a adjustable wrench will work just fine. Now when you install it, you want to make sure that the threads do not come below the bottom surface of the top of this top plate. You only want the spring pin going below that surface, otherwise those threads will bump into the pipe as you're trying to slide it across. Next, you're going to want to install your grabbo if you haven't gotten the grabbo actuator kit. If you just have the standard kit, we're going to install the grabbo, and it's important how they go in. If you look at the side of the grabbo holder, you'll see a straight side and a stepped side. So the step side will go away from the buttons that turn it on and off. And you see this little gap right here? If you have the grabbo Classic, it's going to have a meter on it that goes around. You'll want to line up these holes right here with the holes on the grabbo holder. And then go ahead and install your 3/8 by 1/2 inch bolts and make sure they're threaded all the way down so the head is touching the HDPE here on the sides and the bottom is touching the side of the grabbo. Now on the standards, this is ready to install on the bar. Now keep in mind, you want to have the buttons to turn this thing on and off towards you, so the buttons will be towards the handle side of the bar. Now if you've gotten the complete kit and you have the actuators to turn the grabbos on and off, I'll show you how to install those now. So on your grabbo holder and on the actuator, right at the top, you're going to see a 1/4 inch hole that's right through the top, and there's a set screw. You want to make sure that both these holes are in the right position so they're on the same side. So that actuator goes directly below that with those holes lined up. Now right at the bottom here, you're going to see some holes in the bottom of the actuator that have some threads in them. In those positions, you're going to take your 1/4 socket head screws and go ahead and get them started. You want to make sure that the 1/4 socket is protruding just a little bit from the side, and you can only put one side in at a time. The two of them in at the same time would get crowded. So you're going to want to slide that in and line those up. Now you'll notice there are threads inside of here, but they do not engage with the 1/4 socket. It just rotates freely, and that's what we're looking for. So a couple of methods for getting in here and tightening that down the rest of the way. Just use one of these little Allen keys to do it, which can be a little bit troublesome and a bit finicky. Or what I like to do is just use a wrench and grab the head. It's less trouble. So once you have them both in, go ahead and make sure it's moving freely. Now there's not supposed to be a lot of play or movement in here, so don't worry about that. That's designed that way. And then we can go ahead and flip it over. And at this point, we can add our grabbos or we can add the cable. So I'm going to show you how to add the cable. Now this is a pretty important part of how to put this together. because having the cable tuned right can be the difference between one of the grabos turning on and off and the other one not turning on and off. An easy way to keep your cable management all sorted out before you start installing everything is to go ahead and lay your grabo holders out with your cable facing on the straight side. So remember the step side and the straight side, you'll want your handle with the cables on it in between. Now we can bring this cable over and install it, and then we can do the same on the other side, and this will keep it in a nice configuration for when we add it to the bar. So you want to take your loose end of the cable and you're going to put it through. Now the hole on the bottom is a little bit small, and it's supposed to be. It could be a bit troublesome to feed through. I like to use a pair of needle nose pliers and then go ahead and feed it through. Now once I have the cable through the small hole at the bottom, I'm going to put the cable sheathing down and tighten up this set screw. Now you don't want to over tighten this, but you want it to be snug enough that it's not going to pull out. If you tighten it too much, it'll crush that cable and make it hard for the cable to move in and out. Now these cables need to be positioned the same on both sides. So if I have that little nub right there positioned at the bottom of the cable actuator or of the grabo actuator, I need to tighten them both down in the exact same position. If I have one slightly different than the other, I may have one grabo going on and off and not the other one at the same time. So positioning these cables before you tighten them down is pretty important. Now this handle is the prototype one that I made, and you can see holes all along the top here. We've tried the handle here, the cable remote, in different positions. And what I found is the most comfortable is right here, so I can put my hand behind here and pull on it, because you do need a significant amount of force to get these to actuate. And that's a good thing, because you don't want these accidentally going off when you're moving a heavy sheet around. The 4 wood screws with the square head will be used to install those. Now you'll find that there's no positions in them, so you can install this basically anywhere you want to. It would be easier to install them if you find the position you want and just take a 1/8 bit and get a hole started before you actually screw them down. So when it comes to adjusting these, we'll do that after it's on the grabo. And one thing you want to be careful of is the bottom of this 3/8 screw. If it's lined up where it's off to the side and not hitting directly on top of the button, no tuning will make it so that's going to turn it on. So in that case, what you may want to do is go ahead and sharpen the end of this. What I mean is this right here. We just went and sanded this down to the point so the head is smaller. That way it could be a little bit off to one side and not interfere with that ring around it. So our right side lined up really nice, and our left side was slightly off, so this one has a little bit of a taper. So what we're going to do is just go ahead and dial this down again to where it's just above that head there, and then dial the back one down until this thing turns on and off reliably. So it turned on the first time but not the second, so I'm going to back this up a little bit. And there we go. It's got that down far enough where it's going to turn it on and off, and this is down far enough that it's going to release the air. We can move these down too far, so that'll keep that head up. So that's one of those things when you're fine-tuning this that you're going to need to keep in mind. The other thing is you want to make sure that it comes up far enough to release the green button, so I'm going to go ahead and tune that back just a little bit. There it is. Takes a little bit of fiddling around, but once you get it, it's really handy to just be able to go ahead and grab it right here and turn them both on and off. So take your time, be patient with this. This is going to take a little time. Once you get set up, you're good to go. So that's it. I hope you enjoy your lift systems and get a lot of use out of them. If you haven't seen the video we did about building the track system, our DIY track system for lifting pretty heavy stuff, I'll link that in the description box below, and I'll also list that video on the listing page on our website for the lift systems. Again, thank you so very much for your business. Maggie and I really appreciate it.